already signed in, or did you join?
Yes, we're voting.
Mayor, you're going?
All right, we're in. Not got my speaker on yet.
Yeah, getting over.
Ready, three. Welcome to
Nothing worse than come if you can.
maybe Spencer will come, Foxman. It's okay. I didn't want to.
Good evening, everyone. We're calling the meeting to order for the June 3rd, 2025. So I was going to say, for all my people that are at the back of the meeting, we're calling to order the June 3rd, 2025 Daytona Beach Shores City Council meeting. Welcome to everyone in the audience as well as online. Sherry, can you take a roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Miller,
Here.
Vice Mayor Politis,
Here.
Commissioner Card,
Here.
Commissioner Economos,
Here.
Commissioner Dembinski.
Here.
Thank you. Reverend Bob. Yeah.
Good evening, all. I invite you to stand as you're able and join me in this invocation. Gracious and eternal God, as we gather here on this June evening, we pause to give thanks for the gift of the summer season awaiting, for the promise that summer brings, for protection during the storm season ahead, and for the opportunity to serve this community together. With school out of session and summer beginning, we ask your blessing on our children, youth, and families. Watch over them as they play, travel, and explore new opportunities. Keep them safe, curious, and surrounded by caring mentors, friends, and family. We also welcome the many visitors who will come to our city during these warmer months. May they find here a spirit of hospitality and kindness. Let our parks, beaches, and local businesses reflect the heart of who we are, open, vibrant, and welcoming. We lift up in gratitude the officers, first responders, and public servants who work tirelessly to protect and serve us, especially through the busy days ahead. Grant them wisdom, safety, and strength as they carry out their duties. Bless this commission with clarity, humility, and unity in the business before them tonight. May this work honor the trust placed in them by the people they serve. For it is in your holy name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Bob. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, today the only presentation or ceremonial item we have is that we have a service award, and this is for Steve Wolf for 10 years. Steve is not here this evening. Okay. No, yeah, whatever you'd like to say about it. Has he gotten his award already?
Yes, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, he has gotten his award. Steve has been with us for 10 years, but Steve always reminds me that he was one of the first Parks employee hired by the City of Port Orange, and he enjoyed working in the Parks Department so much that after retirement at the City of Port Orange, he came over here and he was able to grant us another 10 years, so we appreciate his service.
Great. Okay. This is one of the things that I just want to make a comment, and maybe we can, I guess, Kurt, would it be something we'd have to vote on? I want to see, I know these are hard-earned service awards. We normally don't have that many people here, and at Coffee with the Mayor, we do have a lot more folks. I want them to have the option, if we could talk about it at next meeting, we could put it on the agenda. So either, recognizing them here in front of our handful of residents, or tomorrow, or both. I know there's two things, when they get off work at 3:30 in Public Works, probably don't want to come back at 6 o'clock at night, and I really want them to be able to be recognized by their peers. And I don't know if peers want to come back or not. So anyway, everybody on the council, think about that. I'd like to give them the option, one, the other, both, or if neither. Some of them don't want anything. So if you can think about that for the next meeting, we'll talk about it. Thank you. Okay, the next, we're going to go over the City Commission meeting minutes from May 6, 2025. Do you hear a motion to accept those minutes as is?
I so move.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any additions or corrections? If not, I don't see any speakers, so Sherry, please take a vote on that. Okay, and that passed 5-0. Thank you. Okay, on our consent agenda this evening, we have 5 items. Do I have a motion to approve all 5 items, or do we need to pull one of those items for discussion or more?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So if there is no discussion on any of the items, and Sherry, can you take a vote on that, please? Okay, and that also passed 5-0. Next, we are going to go on to item 8A, which is old business, and this is ordinance 2025-07, towing and prohibition of overnight parking on city properties. Attorney Waters, can you read that for us, please?
Certainly. This is ordinance 2025-07, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, relating to the prohibition of overnight parking on city-owned property, Chapter 22, Parking Regulations, amending Section 22-22, Conditions Permitting Impoundment, and establishing Section 22-73, Overnight Parking on City-Owned Property, providing for legislative findings and intent, providing for amendments and enactment, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. And I will note the second reading.
Yes. And Stuart, what do you have for us this evening?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Community Service Director, City of Daytona Beach Shores. This is the second reading of ordinance 2025-07. Staff is recommending approval of this ordinance. This ordinance is being brought before the City Commission because we've been having issues with overnight parking on city-owned properties, specifically at City Hall and also at the community center. So whenever there's a planned event and there's a high demand for parking, sometimes these overnight parking owners, create issues for the events that we're actually, carrying forward. So staff is recommending approval of this. This ordinance would make it illegal to park overnight without prior city approval, and also enable the city to have a third-party vendor tow the vehicles as well.
Okay, thank you. This is a second reading. Before I ask for a motion for approval, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this ordinance 2025-07? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, do we have any discussion or any questions for our community service director?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
And I may have asked this before. When you get old, you forget things. The towing company will pay for the installation of the signs that warn people that they're not to do overnight parking?
Yes, you did ask that question last time, and we are looking into that.
Thought I did.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, and now I'm getting old. We have a motion and a second, is that correct? And I see no speakers. So Sherry, can you put the roll up, please? Okay, and that passed 5-0. Thank you, Stuart. Okay, next we are going to go on to item 8B. This particular item will be continued until July 1st. Attorney Waters, do you need to read it if we're continuing it? Do you need to read first? No?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We need a motion to.
Okay, I need a motion to continue.
Also move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this item? If not, Sherry, can you take a vote? Do we need a vote on this too, Attorney Waters?
Yes.
For the motion, okay.
Excuse me. Thank you.
And this passed 5-0, so again, we will find this on our July 1st agenda. So the second one, item 9, the quasi judicial hearing, that also is tied to the one that we just are continuing until July 1st. So that also will be continued. Do I hear a motion to accept the continuous till?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any questions on that? And if not, I see no speakers, so Sherry, can you take the vote on that, please? Again, passed 5-0, and we will see this on the July 1st agenda. So next, we're going to go on to Resolution 2025-06. This is a budget amendment for a fire truck replacement. Director Irwin?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. We need to read this first.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
This is Resolution 2025-06, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, amending the general fund and capital improvement fund fiscal year 2024-2025 budget for the replacement of the 2020 Sutphen fire truck for $494,398 from general fund reserves, approving the purchase of a new 2025 Sutphen fire truck, providing for appropriations, providing for an effective date, and that is the one and only reading of the resolution.
Thank you. Now, Director Irwin.
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Lori Irwin, Finance Director. If you recall back in March 14th, 2025, there was an accident where a lady had actually ran into the fire truck. So what this resolution is doing two different things. It's actually approving a budget amendment, and it's approving to purchase this new fire truck. So the new fire truck is for $996,800, but insurance is actually giving us $502,402 towards that, because that's how much the one that actually was damaged we can receive for that. So we're asking for $494,398 for a new fire truck that I believe is to be here in August.
We expect to take receipt of it in July or August.
And Lori, to refresh our memory, this is the video that we saw, and that was what happened, it was damaged, and I don't know who wants to answer the question. So was it considered totaled?
Yes, it was.
Just the way that it was. You want to come up and tell it?
No, it's just going to be.
Yeah, okay.
She had other questions.
So this will, was there anything that was able to be salvaged from?
Thank you for the question, Madam Mayor. Mike Fowler, Director of Public Safety. Yes, we were able to save almost all the hand tools, hoses, and other equipment. The amount that the Finance Director has put in should cover a total replacement, bring us back up to where we were prior to this, what we believe was an intentional act.
And I ask you, where is this manufactured?
It's our manufacturer on this is Sutphen, and it's in Ohio. And part of the bid that they've put in on this includes we'll be sending portions of our command staff and the staff that we use to select this apparatus to go to the factory and inspect it before we take this.
Great, thank you. All right, do I hear a motion to accept 2025-06, this budget amendment?
Also move.
Second.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion or any questions for either Director Irwin or Director Fowler before we take a vote on this?
I don't have a question, but I do have an observation, and I talked about this. The money that the insurance company paid was probably a tiny bit more than we paid for that truck originally. And that truck was 5 or 6 years old by now?
Yeah, it was about a 5-year apparatus, and what we've run into, and I may have discussed this with some of you individually, is the price for fire trucks has doubled, and the wait has gone from a few months to 3.5 years. We're fortunate to be able to take one off the line. We're not able to customize this engine, but it's going to suit our needs. if some of you have seen it, there is a Senate investigation into why prices have gone up and the demand has gone so high. So, we'll see what comes out of that. We'll keep an eye on if there's any class action suits related to that.
So Commissioner Dubinsky, I think that was a very good point that you made. I mean, I hate that this happened, that there was a chance for one of our officers to be injured, but actually it was almost a blessing in disguise, especially now that, we're approving this. We would have had to buy one anyway, and for us to get that much value out of it. But, so anyway.
Madam Mayor, can I ask a question? Chief Fowler, the one we currently have, and this will be the second one. So what will happen when the third one's ready for delivery? Will we try and sell one of these and kind of upgrade?
The one that we currently have is the one that needed to be phased out anyway. So
really?
it had come to the end of its life cycle.
Oh, okay.
That's what we ordered the replacement for that we should get. Probably now we're at about 3 years until that'll come. So yes, we will see what we can get out of that. It's interesting, as much as they charge for a new one, how little they're willing to pay for a used one. So we may just sell it for scrap, but we'll make the best decision possible.
Chief, can you, I always love when we talk about mutual aid, when I ask you the questions about the ladders,
Yes.
and you inform me who in the vicinity does have ladders. Can you go over that again? I just love the way that, you can just reach out whenever needed. So tell us which state.
Thank you. You may recall that you all approved the purchase of the engine earlier this year. We were able to save the taxpayers $500,000 by not ordering a ladder truck, a truck with a ladder on the top of the apparatus. We were able to leverage our relationships with Ponce Inlet, who just took receipt of a new one, with Port Orange, who has one right over the bridge, and Daytona Beach has one at Station 2, which is on Bottifer. It's about 10 seconds outside of our city. So we have agreements with all of those cities, and they will be responding to any emergency. So we're going to still be able to deliver the same level of service and save $500,000.
Great. Thank you for it. That was just something I wanted to make sure that everyone knew, that every one of our residents is indeed safe, because we have all bases covered. So, all right. So did we have a motion and a second? Okay. And any other discussion or any other questions for either Chief Fowler or Director Irwin? Not, Sherry, can you take that vote, please? Thank you, Chief.
That's a business meeting.
Hey, this passed 5-0, so Chief, it looks like you're going to be getting a new engine.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Next, we're going to go on to Resolution 2025-07, Budget Amendment, Sewer Lift Station. And this time, Attorney Waters, can you please read that for us?
Certainly will. This is Resolution 2025-07, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, amending the Sewer Fund and Sewer Capital Improvement Fund fiscal year 2024-2025 budget for the design of 3 sewer projects for upgrades to the master station and lift stations, force main, and improvements and retrofit north of Dunlawton for $2,293,088 for
Little over.
that's a big number. From sewer fund reserves, approving the contract for design services, providing for appropriations, providing for an effective date, and that was the reading of the resolution.
Thank you, Attorney. Director?
Again, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Lori Irwin, Finance Director. I know this is for the sewer fund. It's a little on the large side. This is actually for some projects that we have been getting grants for here in the last year, actually. And we need to get the design taken care of for these projects in order to apply for some additional grants. So, and we have, what I have here in front of you actually breaks down, there's 3 projects. There's a master pump station, lift station. The cost of the design is $975,792 and change. There's the force main upgrades for $1,398,103. $277,391 for a total of $2,451,287. Now, we currently have a SAFI grant. That was a $14.55 million that you approved like a year ago. That is for the master pump station, and that will take care of that, but did not include the design. And then we have two CDBG-DR grants through Transform 386 through the county, totaling $5.9 million. And we did apply for another HMPG grant. We didn't get it, and an FDEP grant that we did not get. So what we need is the design for the rest of these projects so that we can apply for additional grants, which we are actually in the process of right now applying for another. It's like a SAFI grant. How do you say it, Kurt?
I'm calling it SAMWA.
SAMWA? Okay.
It's for Milton and for the wildfires in Hawaii. And we're actually applying for $12.9 million. So, and with this, the contract, we did budget this current year $248,000 to go towards the design. And granted, the design is a lot more than what we were originally anticipating. And then, but we've also already budgeted our capital improvement plan, the $2.1 million you'll see here. So we have budgeted totally for this year, next year, $2.392 million towards the design engineering. We're just asking to do it now while we have the contracts and assign contracts and to issue that PO, purchase order. Now, there is a short of $58,887.85 that would need to come in addition reserves for the sewer fund. Now, cash on hand, just so you're aware, as on here, we have $3.98 million. That's cash in the bank right now. And then we have T-bills that mature throughout the year for $8.9 million. So if you're thinking, wondering about, okay, well, the reserves and the cash, how is this going to work? You can see that we do have the cash. And with the T-bills, if something crazy happened, we can always sell one of those, redeem it.
So basically, we have almost 13 million in that sewer fund. And can you explain to me, so the sewer fund, that is just exclusive for that? That's a separate fund from our reserves, correct?
Correct. It's totally separate from the general fund. The sewer fund is your enterprise fund. It makes money. That's how we charge for sewer. That all goes into a specific fund, and that's all that it's used for.
Can I take a minute to thank previous Commissioner Mel Lindauer? He was the one that actively got us into these T-bills, and Commissioner, it has paid off so well. Thank you for doing your due diligence to our city that you love so much, because a couple of times that's come along, the T-bills, so thank you very much. Director Irwin, thank you for taking him up on that. One day I'd like to sit down with you and see exactly how much interest we've actually earned off of these, putting the money in there. So anyway, all right. So do I hear a motion to accept 2025-07?
I so move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion on this? Is there anyone in the audience that has any question? I know this is a lot of money. I hope we've explained why we have the need for that. We have to keep our infrastructure up. So if there's no questions from the dais, if there's no questions from the audience, Sherry, can you take a vote, please? And this also passed 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay, next, we're going to go on to approval of the sanitary sewer design contract and task authorizations. Attorney Waters, can you read that for us, please?
I believe this is just a contract for the commission to consider making.
Thank you. Tell me what the difference is, I hear sewer, between this and what Director Irwin just explained to
So
us.
what Director Irwin did was a really great job of getting the city council, the city commission to approve the money that would fund the design
Yes, okay.
services.
That's
that
why
I'm
they're-
gonna
okay.
talk about.
Great.
So this particular item before you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, is for the design and engineering services for the sewer resiliency upgrades that are required and necessary here in Daytona Beach Shores. As you probably know, the system that we have for sanitary sewer here in Daytona Beach Shores is quite aging. I don't want to give you the exact age, but let's just say it's older than I am. And so it really needs to be replaced. And so the project is actually made up of 3 different components. The force main will have to be redone north of Dunlawton. The master lift station and pump stations throughout the city will have to be redone. And also a lot of the manholes that collect the material, if you will, and pass it on to the lift stations have to be redone as well. And also the lining of some gravity sewer mains that we have to be redone as well. So it's actually very critical that we get this approved so that we can move forward with the design and engineering services to upgrade these systems and to make them resilient to the changes that are happening in the natural environment. And also, it's important for us to have shovel-ready projects. So whenever additional grants come along, we can go ahead and be the first in line, because the way a lot of these shovel-ready projects work, grant programs work, is that it's a first come, first serve. And so if we're able to get this approved tonight and move forward with the design for these different tasks associated with this project, we can be in a position to go ahead and get these grants as soon as they come out and released by the federal government.
Okay.
So staff is recommending approval.
Okay, you are so right on, from the time that I've spent with legislators and also my peers in different cities, that's the word they use all the time. Well, we had this shovel-ready project, we had this, we put this in. So that is just so important, and I realize that now. So with that being said, do we hear approval of this sanitary sewer design contract?
I so move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
All right, I don't see any speakers. Any questions? So Sherry, can you go ahead with the vote, please? So this passed 5-0, thank you. So we just spent a lot of money, didn't we, between a fire truck and a... Thank you. Next, we're going to go on to item D, Resolution 2025-08, HMPG application. Attorney Waters, can you read that for us, please?
Certainly. This is Resolution 2025-08, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, approving submission of an application for federal funding under the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program for the purpose of sewer improvements and retrofit north of Dunlawton, authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents for said application and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Attorney Irwin?
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, I'm not asking for money this time. I'm asking you to approve for me to try and get us some money. So it's a little bit different. This is the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. What happens is FEMA, after there's a storm, they allocate a certain percentage of whatever the total damage is to the state and each county. And interestingly enough is that Volusia County was awarded $43 million in this program. And we just found out 2 days ago that the federal government has cut that in half totally. So we are now getting $21 million. So I'm asking for you to approve for me to apply for this grant. And I am still doing that. I actually have a meeting tomorrow to go through all of the cities, all 16 programs we have to filter them out actually to see which ones can actually go through. So by approving this resolution and allowing us to go forward with the application, we're one step ahead of that because they have to have this before the applications can go in, and applications are due, I think through the end of July.
So, Director Irwin and City Manager, does this have a little bit to do what we were reading about and maybe talking about another project about a month ago that FEMA is looking to cut funds drastically? Is this the
Yes.
result of that? Okay.
Now, this grant is also a part of what Stuart and I've been actually talking about this evening. So this money, we're actually asking for a total of, through the program, $5,378,000. And then what happens is the city has to pay 25% of whatever funding that they agree on. And then we're hoping to get a grant for $3.4 million for the manhole and retrofit of Del Long.
So if something happens and we don't get any money towards it at all, do we have a plan?
We have a backup that would work. That's the grant that Kurt knows the name, has made up the name for.
Okay, he's made up the name. Okay, thank you. So do I hear approval of this resolution 2025-08, that the application would be approved?
Also moved.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion, any questions from the audience, or any discussion or questions from the dais? If not, I don't see any speakers on this, so Sherry, can you take a vote on that, please? Okay, and this also passed 5-0, so great job on all the grants you've been trying to get us. So next, we're going to go on to economic development, a lease subsidy, and Director Maddox, what do you have for us this evening?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Nancy Maddox, Engagement Director. We have tonight the Economic Development Lease Subsidy Grant application from Lunas. They are open. They are open 7 days a week, Sunday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Located at 2516 South Atlantic. They've invested over $50,000 in renovations to the rented space, and they currently employ 15 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees. Mr. Rosales is here if you have any questions from them. We have given you 2 options this time. The committee met, and if we did the normal 30, 20, 10, the 30 would be, the 20,000 would be done in the first year, in 10 months. So we gave you an option of doing the 15 for 2 years, almost 2 years. I'll let Mr. Card continue any other things that he might want to add, since he's part of our committee. And
yeah, we did meet with them, and what we felt was the 15% would be a better stay for the business owner. It would, we would do the 15% instead of the 30% because it would give longevity for these people. So we want to help them out in the long run. It'll almost go money-wise for them for almost 2 years. So instead of the 10 months and the money is over, we're going to stretch it. That's what I endorse. I think that the rest of the committee was the same way.
The owners are here, or is there any questions for any of them? I do want to say I've been in there several times, probably 7, 8. I think I was in there yesterday for lunch. I had a luncheon date, and I see Lisa's in the audience today, and it was great, and they're always just so friendly. And can I get on my high horse again, too? I have people that constantly ask me about bringing dining into the shores. Okay, this, from the hours that you said you can go breakfast, lunch, dinner, a late night snack, we cannot rely on our tourists to support these businesses. Our residents need to support these. So, you know, I'm kind of disheartened sometimes when I say to someone, I'm going to Lunas to eat, and they say, where is that? So, you know, just know some of the new businesses that are coming in, support them. That's what we want. You know, again, my priority is supporting small businesses. So I'm very happy to have you in the shores. You're doing a fabulous job. So thank you so much for being here. Any other questions for either? Oh.
And Commissioner Conway, I just wanted you to know their website, front and center, is Daytona Beach
Shores.
I looked at all the documents, and everything I saw said Daytona Beach Shores, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
This is a little joke between us that Commissioner Economos is very pro Daytona Beach Shores. So if you come to us for an application, you just have Daytona Beach, you're gonna go back and change your signage and your advertising. But anyway, so thank you for doing that from the start. So anything else that you'd like to tell us, Director? Okay, any questions that you have? Okay. You're welcome. So right now, we need approval for the lease subsidy, and I do like the idea that you said the 15%. So if, could you make the motion, please, since you that for the.
I make the motion.
Okay, for the 15.
For the 15%.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All right, any discussion or any other questions? And again, I see no speakers, so Sherry, can you take the vote on that, please? Well, congratulations, that passed 5-0. Director Cruz, you're going to tell us about some of our new polls. So is there anything that you need to read for us this evening? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioner Stuart Cruz, Community Service Director again. So, Madam Mayor, the lease or the agreement or the lease contract that we have that we had for the last 3 years to the vendor that actually provided, stored, installed all the street lights on the poles that we have in A1A and on Dunlawton. That particular contract expired last year, and so we're in need of finding a new vendor or finding the same vendor as it turns out to work with me tonight, to essentially establish a new contract to have this service provided for the city of Daytona Beach Shores. So we recently did an invitation to bid about a month and a half ago, and there were 5 vendors, contractors that actually submitted, and the selection committee met last month, and the recommendation from the selection committee was to essentially go with the same provider that we have right now, which is Riley's Outdoor LLC DBA Hotel Outdoor Decor. And so the amount of money that this particular agreement would obligate the city to would be $23,500 per year, and it would be a 3-year contract, so you multiply that times 3. This was the best and most qualified vendor that actually made the submission out of all the bids that we looked at and were actually submitted. And so we actually have 2 samples of what staff believes were the best options that were provided by this particular vendor and all the vendors in general, and you can see them right behind me tonight. There's one on the left and one on the right. So staff is recommending approval of this particular contract and the lease agreement, but we do need direction from the city commission as to which snowflake would go best in the city. And so I'll go ahead and light them up real quick, and Nancy will help me out with the lights so that you guys can take a look. And I don't know how you want to handle it, Madam Mayor, but basically the city staff needs direction as to which one.
So my question is, why couldn't it be, one on one pole and one on the other? I guess I don't know.
So the interesting thing is that the mind frame of the committee was in unison, and essentially we were thinking of a consistent image throughout the city. But this is totally up to the city commission. Whatever the city commission likes, obviously staff will go ahead and implement.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and plug them in.
Lights, camera, and Vanna's already back there. Vanna, do you want to stand up and? Control tab.
Display it, Stuart.
For some reason, Stuart, it's just me, I don't like the yellow lights in the middle of the white, so this is just me, my preference is that blue one. Oh, those are beautiful, though. Okay, and tell me again what these, I don't think when we had the direct decorations before, we had them on every pole. Would this be on every other one? And would
So there are 94 poles throughout the city that we put this on, and essentially it's every 3rd pole, I believe, if I remember correctly.
And what would be on the other one? Banners?
The banners, the Christmas banners.
And when we talk about holiday, we're really just talking Christmas. We're not talking.
Yes, they typically go up the week before Thanksgiving. and then we pull them out the week after January 1st.
So this is how we're going to do this. So we're going to, each commissioner is going to say one or the other or both. So Commissioner Dubinsky?
Why me?
Okay,
I like the blue one.
okay, just the blue?
Yeah.
Okay, I could like the white, but I don't like those yellow lights in there, or amber, or whatever they are, so that's just me. Commissioner Kurt?
I like the blue.
All right, well, I already picked blue, so you guys can have a vote, but. Commissioner Economos?
I would be okay with using both, but if I had to choose one, it would be blue.
Okay. Our vice mayor is still contemplating, so.
No, blue, it's sparkle like diamond in sky.
sky.
Blue, I like it.
Okay. And again, do we need a vote or consensus? We need a vote. Okay, there's my city clerk down there. Like you were gonna maybe give me an out. My city clerk was not. You weren't gonna give me an out either? Okay. All right, Chair, can you put that, so the can I have a motion then for someone?
I can't believe I'm gonna say it, but I so move to approve of the blue snowflake for Christmas decorations. What have I become?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
And approval of the
All
contract.
right, before we have the discussion, anyone out there in the audience, this is your city, anyone, Carol, which one do you like better? Come on, Carol. Okay, all right, good. Anyone else have any comments or anything that they want to say? Jen?
I think we need them more than every third poll. I think we need them at like every other poll or maybe every poll, but I don't know what the difference in the cost is.
Quite a bit.
It seems like they're pretty spread out.
So that would increase the cost.
Yes. And we can certainly look into that if that's the commission's desire.
Okay, I think it would be too much on every poll.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just a question for Director Cruz. Do we have electric? I know there's obviously lighting in each pole, but are the outlets on every other pole?
That's a good question. So we have electrical outlets on most of the poles, but not all of them.
So if you
So
could,
we would have to investigate and see how that sequence actually plays out, because it might not be entirely consistent.
okay. So right now, I don't see any speakers on this, so Sherry, can you take a vote? Yes is for blue. So the motion was for blue.
And the contract.
And the contract.
Okay, 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, those are beautiful. Thank you for whoever worked on those and whoever the selection committee is. We appreciate it. So next, we're going to go on to approval of emergency purchase contract for a sewer lift station at Station 5. Is there anything you need to read for us? All right, so Stuart, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. For the record, Stuart Cruz, Community Services Director again. So this particular request before you, Commission, is for the emergency purchase, the approval of an emergency purchase contract for the replacement of one of the pumps at Station 5, which is on Cheshire Road, which is basically across from, I believe it's the Caribbean condo, and also for those who might be familiar, the real estate mall where you can go and get your Volusia County passes for the beach and for parking in Volusia County properties as well. So essentially, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, a few weeks ago, one of the pumps failed. There's basically two pumps there, and the system is designed to operate in two pumps. It can survive on one, but over the long term, it's not good. It's eventually going to fail. And if we were to utilize a bypass pump, there's no guarantee that it would last as long as we need it to last. So unfortunately, because this particular pump is so old, it was originally installed in 2004, and because it's failed, we can either go ahead and rebuild it, which would cost just over $102,000, or we can buy a brand new one to replace it, which would be a little bit above $129,000. Staff is recommending that we go ahead and buy a new one, just because this has been rebuilt several times, and because it's still old, and because of the critical nature of this particular lift station, which basically accommodates and facilitates the materials in that area for almost half the city. And so basically from the 2000 block all the way to the 2900 block, all the sewage in that area goes through this one pump station. And so it's very, very critical that we go ahead and move forward with doing something, and staff is recommending that we actually purchase a new pump to replace the faulty one.
Okay, Okay, thank you. City Manager, I have a question for you. So I think we changed your authority, what, a year ago or something, but this, the most that you can do unless it's an extreme emergency is 100,000. Is that why this is coming for us?
I believe, well, 50, but under emergency, doesn't it double under our ordinance?
Okay, all right, okay, so above. So just wanted to make sure everyone understood, you know, why you're coming to us.
That and it was, we were so close to a meeting date anyways, and we need to do this, so that's why the agenda was amended on Monday, Monday, as well, to add this
Okay.
at the last second.
Okay, all right, so right now, is there any questions for our Community Service Director? If not, don't have any speakers again, so Sherry, can you take a vote on this, please?
We have to move. I also move for the approval of the emergency.
And I will second that.
Okay, thank you. And you can take the vote, thank you. And this passed 5-0. I just want to know, City Clerk, can you go back for your records for how many years to see if we've ever spent this much money?
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and next we are going to go on to the charter review. So every year, by our charter, we are told that we've had to evaluate our city manager. I think we've been doing this for probably 6 years now. There was a little controversy at the beginning. Commissioner Conmos, thank you very much for researching this new evaluation form. I really haven't looked at this at all, so Sherry, are you going to give us the overall, or what are we doing here, the overall? I'm sure it's in here, but do you want to read it? I think I saw it in here, was it?
Right, the average score for the city manager was 4.925 out
Wow,
of 5.
you can't get much better than that, so congratulations, city manager. I haven't looked at these at all. I just hope, you know, again, what I've said before, you know, this is very important to Kurt too. Even if he's doing a fantastic job, let's make sure we say, you know, I'm giving you this score because you do this, because I saw you do this, you know, on valuations. If there's something, and I think we did my stop, start, and continue in a different maybe format. So, you know, if there's something that you think you can improve on, that's the time. And then make sure if you haven't talked to him about it, spend some time with him, because I know Kurt very well and he wants to, even, he does a fantastic job, but he wants to improvement, and if we don't, or if we're not open and honest with him on what he needs improvement on, he doesn't know where to go. So anyway, congratulations, city manager. That was a fantastic score. We appreciate it. Okay, any questions or anything you want to talk about to your city manager before we move on? Anything, you know, I've said what I have to say about, you know, just what I think of what a wonderful job he does. With me and being out and about in Volusia County a lot and interacting with a lot of the city managers, we are truly, truly blessed to have Kurt. When Mark Barker emails me and tells me I should be glad I have that, does everyone know who Mark Barker is? Okay, Mark Barker tells me what a wonderful city manager we have, then I think we have a good city manager. Anything else anyone wants to say to our city manager, either here or make an appointment to talk to him about it?
Well, while we're on the mode of spending money, are we allowed to try and raise his compensation, or do we need a workshop for that?
Attorney Waters,
Yeah, I was just getting ready to speak. Section 3.03 is compensation and evaluation, so that's what we were voting on.
okay, all right. Does anyone have a motion for a compensation increase?
I would be interested to see if there's a cost of living adjustment incorporated in the current contract. Is there?
There is not.
I would like to look at hear me out. I'm catching everyone a little bit off guard. Out of respect, and I think we all should take the time to make it a process. So I would respectfully request a copy of the contract so I can review it, and then we can put it on the agenda for the next meeting, and maybe, you know, to a consensus at the next meeting. Is that okay? I'm asking out loud.
Sure.
Yes.
Are we allowed to see the contract? I presume we are, if we're gonna rule on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, I want to give it my, a good thought process, and that way, we don't throw out 5-10%, or somebody says 50,000. I think that's swinging from the hip, and I'd rather give you the respect you deserve in the evaluation process.
I think that's fantastic. I want to make sure we look at the city manager total compensation.
And I like this, how we
Yeah. Whoever
compare to
did
the
that,
other
thank you very
managers
much. Yeah.
in the other cities. I want a copy of that as well, and I'll be ready for the next.
That's on here too.
Yeah.
So take that into consideration. Our city manager does a fantastic job. Some of the feedback that I get, well, you only have 52, 100 population compared to what Deltona has. Oh, they went up to 100,000, my goodness. So, look at that too, but I'm definitely open to that. If you will take it upon yourself to look at that contract. Would you rather do it at our next meeting or have a special workshop?
No, I think at the next meeting.
Okay, is that all right with everyone?
That's enough for me.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dubinsky, is it okay if we do that? Just as the
Yes,
next-
that's
okay.
fine.
All right, thank you. All right.
If I can just make a comment on the evaluations. Thank you for the good scores, but I have to give credit to my management team. They do a fantastic job. You've seen them tonight. You guys see them all the time doing the great work that they do. So I feel like I get a lot of credit sometimes for what they do, but we are a great team and I have great staff. So they make me look good. I want to thank all of them tonight.
And I would second that, so, thank you.
Okay, so I guess there's no other discussion on that. If anyone wants to set up an appointment and talk to Kurt at any time, he's always open. So is it all right now if we go on to city attorney's comments?
Madam Mayor, it's always a pleasure to be in the great city of Daytona Beach Shores.
Thank you very much. City manager, do you have any comments?
A couple of quick comments. I know, Madam Mayor, that you received your award at the Volusia League of Cities dinner, but I want to publicly note that the mayor has, for 4 years now in a row, received the Hometown Hero Award through the Florida League of Cities. If you don't know what that is, this is an award for advocating for the city of Daytona Beach Shores. She is a very strong advocate at the state level, at the county level. She is tirelessly working on your behalf, and this award recognizes that. So, Mayor, I know you received it the other night from the league, but congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kurt. I appreciate it. And as it is right now, as you all know, I'm the president of Volusia League of Cities. So after I leave here, I will be rushing over to Ormond and present this award to two people that were not able to be at the banquet. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anything else?
Yes, I would like to remind all of you that your Form 1 is due by July 1. You should have received an email from Ethics, FDMS, something, but that is a legit email. Everything has to be done through the state system electronically now. The beauty now is if you just click on Start Filing, if nothing has changed in your financials, like it's basically just what are your income streams and your liabilities, you can click Populate last year's data. Took me about 30 seconds to do my form this morning. But I want to remind you all, because it's a $25 a day fine if you don't do it by July 1.
Thank you.
Also wanted to tell you that we have a couple of projects that are going to be starting that, I don't know if anybody saw our Facebook post. We are replacing our odor control unit on our master lift station. I believe this is the one right behind Burger King. It's starting on June 4th. There may be a funky smell, which is what this unit does. It keeps the smell from our sewer system in check, but while that's being replaced, the local folks may smell that system. So if you have any complaints from citizens, it should be just a multi-day replacement.
Did you give Burger King a heads up on that?
Stuart is notifying everybody in the area. And then also June 16th, we're going to be repaving City Hall parking lot, starting at 4:30 each night, 16th through roughly the 19th. So if you see that, that's what's going on at City Hall. It'll be after normal work hours. And the last thing I wanted to point out, because there's one in the room here now, I've noticed all over at City Hall, here, we have our new AEDs installed.
I saw that.
As well. So they'll continue to do training classes through public safety. Yes, hope we never have to use one, but we have them, I believe it's a 67, if I remember correctly, that we now have in the city.
Oh, that's fantastic, thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for our city manager? Okay, if not, we'll go on to commission comments. I'll go first. Nancy Maddox, I don't think I thanked you enough for the wonderful Armed Forces Day event we had. It was absolutely fantastic. The speaker was wonderful. I loved when we first came in seeing those pictures, so thank you for everything you did. I know your staff helped you, but it was just a fantastic event, and I continue to get positive feedback on that, so thank you. Okay, the next announcement I have is the coffee with the mayor will not be tomorrow morning. It will be called an evening exchange. I think I committed to quite a few years ago that I would do one event at a nighttime for people that work, but this is also not about the mayor. This is about the staff. So our staff is, each one of Kurt's directors is going to give us a brief overview of what they've done the past couple months, what's going on in their department. As Kurt said, they are a fantastic staff. I want to make sure that everyone gives them the recognition that they deserve. So tomorrow night is not going to be about the mayor at all. It's going to be about the staff at Daytona Beach Shores. So everyone is welcome to come. I say light appetizers. If you know Nancy Maddox, you get a little bit more than light appetizers. But anyway, well, you know, we will have that tomorrow night. Is it at 5 o'clock upstairs? And just so everyone on the commission knows, Sherry posts this, so anyone that wants to come, it is not a sunshine violation. So anyone's welcome to come. The next thing is, so with that being said, there will be no coffee with the mayor in July and August. Normally, you know, our population drops down. We get mostly visitors here that don't come. So no coffee with the mayor July and August, but we will resume in September, the first Wednesday in September. And then I want to make sure that you know about two things that are going on. The first one is the concert on June 27th. So Nancy, who, live music, say time? Time. 6:30 to 8:30, so no food trucks, right? Okay, then I'm going to give you an advance notice. Do you know how every year we partner with the Drive-In Christian Church and we have that Movie Mania? So we contribute so much money. They offer their wonderful facilities. This is a great event because it's free admission. And for those of you that have been there, Stacy, Chris, Kurt, and Nancy, I know you get a lump in your throat because they'll come through the door with 3, 4, 5 children and they'll say, is it really free? Can I really bring them to a movie for free? And then the snacks are only $1 each. A couple nights the church donates that they don't have to pay for snacks. We have businesses like Ocean Lux that does floats. I think your company, doesn't it? Yeah, they do one night too. So it's just the community getting together. So these dates are July 6th, 8th, and 10th. 3 different movies. So mark your calendar, but I'll have time on July 1st to remind you again. But anyway, it's just a fantastic event. So that is me. Commissioner Dubinsky?
I just have one thing. You pointed out that we spent a lot of money tonight. The city gives the best service that the citizens could ever hope to receive. And there are 2 things that are the most important: moving sewage and keeping the citizens safe. Every penny we spent was well worth it.
Great. Good point. Great. Thank you. Commissioner Card?
I have 3 things.
Okay.
The first one is about the economic development. Director Maddox and I, we talked the other day, and we want to bring businesses into the city, but we can only do so much. We're willing to give money to the last vendor that was just here, but we went into a little different direction. I said, why don't we, I looked at the properties out there that just seem dilapidated on the north end, on the west side. So I went by, I made 11 properties, and she got me phone numbers. I called all 11, I got 2 responses. But I guess a week ago, the one guy who did call me back pressure cleaned it, painted it. The city manager and I were there today with Director Maddox. I think we had a good conversation. He's a good steward of the city also, fixing up this stuff. So, you know, I got 1 person out of 10 that actually did something, but it was a success to me. I said that if we can get 1, we did something.
Congratulations.
Second thing, I'm continuing to do a work day with each one of the departments, and I've already done finance department, I've done the sewer department. This time I did it with the public works department. I learned a lot with them. I learned where our water system is and we're gonna be spending money, I think, in the near future on the tennis courts. I wanted to see where the water was that goes to that. So I learned quite a bit with those. I shout out to those guys. Stuart made that happen for me. You have a great crew. They always do a great job. You know, you see those guys outside in the sweltering heat. I don't think they get enough recognition, but I want to say thank you for having those guys out there and working hard as they do. The last one, which is a little more serious, somebody came to me probably a month ago and said, the one thing about the city is we're an older demographic, and a lot of these people, they may lose a spouse, and that's not just to that, but the depression comes in when they lose a spouse. They sit in their condo, and there's nothing for them to do all day, and they don't want to leave their condo. They barely leave for food. Second one, another one came to me. This was an older gentleman that talked to me about this. The second one was a younger girl who said that she had had an injury in her 50s. She said, I was just depressed because I had been hung up in my condo. So I'm posing this question to the commission. What can we do? I brainstormed a little with the city manager, but I'd like to see if we can do something for this. And this was one of the things is we had this building here. The building goes dormant after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever time frame. Maybe there's something that we can do as far as opening the doors maybe once a week. And I don't know how this is, but it's just something to talk about. This is the beginning stage of it, where we would have maybe another coffee talk. Maybe it's just a card, but somehow to get some of these older folks that are in their condo, they just feel depressed. They have no real hope. They're just waiting for that day. And this may be a step in the right direction. So that's what I propose to the commission, that maybe we just talk about it first and see if there's something we can do for some of these people.
Okay, let's add that to agenda. If it turns out that we need more information, we can always, have a workshop on it. Commissioner Card, get with Nancy Maddox. I know for quite a while there we were open. Was it 1 or 2 nights? How many nights a week were we open?
We are currently open Tuesday and Thursday nights.
So we are already open 2 nights. And just knowing from the demographics that we do have, I think it's a great idea, but I don't think it's an evening type thing. I know for our commission meetings, these used to be at 7 o'clock at night. And I can't tell you the number of citizens that said, go to bed at 8, can you make it a little bit earlier? So hence, that's why ours are at 6
I'm there.
o'clock. But I know, but it's fantastic idea. So Kurt, can we add that to the agenda, please, and have a talk about it? If we don't have enough time at the meeting, let's schedule a workshop, because that is very important.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Okay, Commissioner Conlon?
No comments.
Okay, great. Vice Mayor?
I got to say, our city manager was accurate when the director of finance, the director of all the different departments that come up here, they're articulate, they're prepared, they respond to questions. We get fed information so we can make a fully informed, intelligent decision to benefit the citizens. It runs like a clock here. Sometimes I read the newspaper and I see what goes on in other municipalities, and I do my cross and I said, thank God, everything's good here. So I just want to say I'm really proud to be a part of this process and sit next to the man, the city manager, Kurt Schwartzland. I think he does a wonderful job. And you lead by example. You have respect for your staff. The staff has respect for you. And that's how you run a good city. And so kudos to you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Sherry, so I'm going on to audience comments. I thought I saw one speaker here when I try and pull it up. Do I hear? I don't have it on mine to pull up.
Yes. Kelly Moore? Kelly Moore?
Okay. I thought I had one, but I couldn't pull it up. I see it now. Thank you. Hi, Kelly.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Just want to say thank you. I'm representing the Chamber of Commerce from the Board of Directors. Just want to say thanks so much for your support to the Chamber community. We really appreciate the wonderful camaraderie and relationship we have with your city, so thank you. And I just wanted to mention 2 upcoming events to let the citizens know about. Thursday, June 5th, which is this week, is the Chamber Alliance Mega Mixer. So all the Volusia County chambers come together. It's an event that's free to the public. You can meet local business owners and connect with other business owners, community members, chamber members. And then in July, we have our 3rd annual casino night. It is going to be a beach type theme, called Bet on the Chamber, and a portion of those proceeds go to fund scholarships for our foundation. This year, we were able to give out 8 scholarships to high school seniors, so a portion of the proceeds. I believe last year it was 5, so we were able to increase the scholarships. So keep that in mind. It's an event that's open to the public as well. So thank you again for your support and letting me speak today.
You're welcome, Kelly. Can you please give the feedback today? I was asked to speak at the leadership class, the junior leadership class with Kristen and Emma Clark, and it was so delightful. I mean, they were very attentive, asking questions. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, thank you very much for having that program. I think it's
Thank you
very
for your
helpful.
support and being available to instruct and help our youth. There's 24 students in that program this year, so it's pretty amazing.
Great.
So
And thank you for
your
being with
support.
us again.
Absolutely, thank you.
And I have already given Kurt a couple items for the next agenda. Do we have any others that we want to give him right now to add? Not, then this meeting is